Din, 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 din. Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And listen, kiddies, you are entering Cinema Chop Shop.
The Cinema Chop Shop.
What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the damn subscribe button. And today I have a special guest in the building, Senor Del Boy from Movie Mash. He's sick. He got COVID for the 13th time in a 2-month span. I don't know how the hell he does it, but hey, he finds a way.
I find a way. Hi, everyone. I'm Movie Mash. Go and check me out on Movie Mash, or go to Facebook. Check the group out. Also, the third reel. And the reason why I'm here today, even with my bad voice, my Batman voice, is because this video would be terrible if I wasn't here. So I thought I'd help you all out.
Oh yeah, it'll be terrible regardless because your voice sounds like shit. But okay. Anyway, so today we're talking about Monsters Season 2, where they focus on the Menendez brothers, right? And if you guys aren't familiar with the Menendez brothers case, it's a story about these two brothers that the rich kids, sedity ass kids, they live in the freaking Bel Air. They're just living a life, and then for some reason they end up killing their parents. Now, eventually in the story, they kind of talk about why they killed their parents. But the interesting thing about this season was the simple fact that they told it from different perspectives. They told it from the perspective of the killers. They told it from the perspectives of the audience, like how public opinion viewed them. And then also it told them from the perspective of who am I missing? The killers, the audience, the parents. 3, right? Am I missing something?
No, I think so. No, that's about right.
All right. So these are the same. This is the same team that did Dahmer, and I think you were telling me that you enjoyed this more than Dahmer.
I did, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Elaborate.
I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is that Dahmer is very dark and disturbing, and for me, because there's so many serial killers, including Gacy, Ed Gein, and all these people who were so macabre and twisted. Doing the Menendez brothers was just felt like it would be more light-hearted, if you get what I mean, compared, because they only kill, but they kill 2 people,
Yeah.
But I started watching this, and as much as I did like Dahmer, I really did. I'm not knocking it. This took me by surprise. In fact, this is probably one of the best things I've seen all year, easily. I was hooked. Even when it slowed down in the middle part, a couple of episodes in the middle, I was invested all the way. And then I was a bit confused with the perspectives, the way they kicked in, because I was like, what's going on here? But I loved it. I loved every episode. Even that 30-minute episode of him doing his monologue, talking for 30 minutes, it just focused on him for 30 minutes. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You would have thought, I remember watching that going, that just passed like that. And it was just him in the screen. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was intriguing. I thought it was terrible. I have about 20 different opinions now that I didn't have before. I even checked after the show to see what was real and what wasn't, because you know how TV shows to be dramatized and stuff.
Yeah, they dramatize.
And apparently, it's very, very close to what the facts are. I mean, what their perspective of the facts are, if you get what I mean. So it's very close to what really happened and what according to. So because I hate it when you watch something and then you check and you're like, this won't happen, this didn't happen. You're like, oh my God, But this was pretty close, apparently. Yeah, sure, there's a few things, but I just thought it was great. Apart from it looked great as well. The acting was really good. The setting, the 90s the Vanilla Ice music, the Milli
Their
Vanilli.
their
Yeah.
clothing and their little glasses and shit.
Yeah. And you know the Milli Vanilli. I just want to bring that up. I don't know if they done that on purpose because of the two guys that were Milli and Vanilli. For people who don't know, there was a double duo act. I don't think they were brothers, but and it turns out all the songs they were big hits. It turns out they weren't even singing them. And what
It was
happened
lip
was is
syncing.
they were live on stage, and they were lip syncing. The record broke. So because the record broke, they had to then sing it properly, and they couldn't. Do you know? So that's when people. Anyway, it turns out it wasn't them. And this song was played quite a few times, suggesting that the two people aren't what they seem. If you get what I mean. I don't know if that was done on
Was that
purpose.
the song that they played during the funeral, or it
Yeah,
was just the
and
song that? Okay.
and at the
At
end,
the end, yeah.
yeah.
When that
Um,
was a really, like you pointed out, that was actually a really good cinematic moment where they're going side by side, and then the car
Also, it
split.
was actually quite sad
Yeah,
because I know they were evil little shits, right? But we watched these two together go through life, if they were abused, what they done, killing their parents, everything was together. And at that moment was the first time they're going to be separated. And I checked that they don't see each other again for
for a
25
while.
years.
Yeah,
25 years. So I was like, even though you know they're evil and you see them line up next to each other and they're kind of looking at each other, and next minute, boom, you know. And I was like,
you know what's
and the
crazy though?
cinematography was good.
You mentioned how you liked the show, and I liked it a lot too. Like I really enjoyed the show. It kept me invested. Like I was mad that I didn't get to like one shot it, but at the same time, you know, life is life. Um, the thing that I noticed is that a lot of people are, I want to say, review bombing this. And the reason why they're review bombing this is not because the show's bad or anything. It's because they don't agree with the perspective that was being told. So a lot of people, they're like Gypsy Rose, the Menendez brothers have acquired a following of people who attest to their innocence, right? They really, really believe that they're innocent. They really believe that the parents got what they deserve, so on and so forth. And the problem is that they're upset because they feel like the parents weren't portrayed like monsters during the show. And I completely 100% disagree with that shit. I felt like majority of the show showed the parents as monsters, and there was only like maybe I want to say like 10% actually said that there was a possibility that they were just regular ass parents and the kids were just little shits, you know. And that's just based off of witness testimony, like the guy that was buying that they were buying a car from, and you know, I think there was a pool guy as well too.
Yeah, a
They
gardener or
just,
something. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, and then you also have the maid that says, like, you know, like the family, like I never saw the dad get mad at them and things like that. And this is a maid that lived with them. So, you know, the thing that drives me up the wall about society is that we get invested in perspectives and we get invested on siding with things. And I think people need to understand that sometimes like it's not all black and white. There's
Yeah,
also a
it's
gray area.
cult
Yeah.
following. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's
It's
a gray area. Like you need to understand that, like, okay, cool, you have all these testimonies, all this evidence or something like that you feel like points in the direction that these boys were molested by their parents, which possibly could have happened, you know. But then also there's counter evidence and counter testimonies that say the opposite, you know. So it's like, if you're going to take the cousin's testimony saying that the boy said that when he was young, but then all of a sudden, why isn't the same thing taken into consideration when it's like the maid, or when it's another relative who also said, I think it was the mom's brother who also said like it's bullshit, like those boys were never like molested, nothing bad ever happened to them, you know. So it's like, why are we picking and choosing which evidence we choose to listen to, you know?
Yeah, but as the show, what could they do? They can't just side. They didn't side with one actual person. They
And that's
get
what I
every.
respect about it.
What could they do? They couldn't just go like show them that they were innocent because we don't know because of what everyone else said, and we can't show them that they're completely guilty even though they were convicted, and but because of what everyone said. So they actually did. They showed every perspective. So they kind of like got out of jail free card, if you ask me. Now, when you're talking about cults and but you know, like people siding, you pick a side, and that's it. No matter what happens, like it's like Kamala and Trump. You pick a side. There doesn't seem to be that grey area anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're one or the other. It doesn't matter what one or the other says, or you don't even care if you like the person you're voting for, as long as it's not the other person. It's just one of those things. And people with the internet and social media, you see, people seem to go mad with choosing a side. Now, I have my own perspective on what I'm not sure that the dad did abuse him. I'm not sure. Yeah. Because I feel like they lied so much. They talk so much shit. And with the solicitor, or the lawyer, sorry, we call it solicitor, all right? With the lawyer having previously done the other case with the child abuse, that angle, and then it was showing them what to say and all that. I'm on the fence about it. Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying it's like when you're speaking to these guys who lie and lie and like you said, like they were scared of this guy, but then they weren't scared of this guy. You know, there was all these kind of. I'm still on the fence if he actually did, and it's because of the show. But looking at all the angles, these kids lied and lied and lied, and they did, and they ran off and spent money. They act like they didn't care of nothing. I'm still on the fence about it. Now, as you said, as we were talking about before, there's no smoke without fire most of the time. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes.
there is those rumors here and there, but a lot of rich people do get those rumors anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think
So
honestly,
I'm on the fence.
it's hard to. Okay, the only reason why it's hard to kind of justify that is because the dad did have naked photos of his own kids, which is weird, you know.
But
And then also
is
the
it the
dad,
ones with like it was only two, and it was like just showing his leg or something, wasn't it?
I heard it was showing their genitals, like it was
Well,
like
on the
focal
show,
point was on the
it
genitals.
just
I mean, of
showed
course,
two
the show's not going
pictures.
to show it, dude.
Oh no! But you know, like showed that he was just taking a picture of their swimsuit. It could have been perceived as that, but also it could be perceived as innocent as well, because the ones they showed on the TV show, it was one of his in his swim costume or his swim shorts, whatever you call them, right? So I'm like, that could be perceived one or the other. It didn't show the boy naked. He wasn't
Yeah, but
taking
then also
naked pictures.
the dad also has multiple. Like the dad is an executive for a record label, and he got accused by a bunch of. He had a boy band, and multiple
Yeah,
members of the
yeah,
boy
yeah,
band came forward and
yeah.
said that he molested them. Now, here's the thing. I think the dad lived. This is what I think. I think that there's a
Secret
high chance.
Roman.
Do what the Romans do. There's a high chance that the dad molested his kids. I think that that's the truth.
Yeah, I think
I
there's a
think there's
high
a high
chance.
chance that he did it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is where we drop. This is where people need to dig into that gray area. Just because that happened, right? I don't think that me personally, I don't think it continued into their adulthood. I think it might have been something that happened when they were a kid. I don't think he was actively doing that shit as they were adults. Maybe him and his son were engaging in like equal opportunity moments, because I know that the younger son was a little like on the flamboyant side, if that's a good word to use. But anyway, yeah, so if that happened later on in life, fine, whatever. That's between them. It's wrong, obviously. But I think that their motive for committing this crime was specifically to inherit the money and to get money. I think their motive was 100%.
Yeah, especially
financial.
after he cut them out. He
Yeah.
said you're out of the will.
And then them
he
looking
stopped.
specifically
Yeah.
for the will, and then them freaking sleeping with the safe.
Because
Like,
those two kids are rich. They never know what it's like to be poor. Like they never know what it's like to not be able to buy food or anything. And yet they're still robbing people's houses. Do you know what I mean? For more money. They're
yeah,
just
they said that
shallow
they had
little
a job.
shits.
He was a pizza delivery boy and quit, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
After a few couple of hours.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you like I think it was 100% financially motivated. I think that was the goal. I think that would
I think so too.
push them to actually commit the murder. Like, you can't just walk in a house and shoot somebody, right? Like, I think it takes a really evil person to do that, and especially doing that to your parents. And the way that they did it, like it takes some sort of fuel to do that. I think that they use the fuel from them being like molested and things like that when they were younger. I think that and whatever feelings they felt towards their mom, I think they use that as a fuel to kill their parents, right? But I think that the reasoning behind it was 100% financial. Like it was, I think the whole motive was money. That was the motive for it. But I do think that there's a chance that happened to them when they were younger. I think they use that as a fuel, but I don't necessarily think that was the motive. It wasn't
because
there wasn't a crime
these
of
two
passion.
kids, these two guys, right? They were like big, strong athletes at this point.
Yeah, the whole like my parents were going to kill me. I was afraid for my life. That's complete
Yeah,
bullshit.
but you know, like, and they were big, strong athletes, and for the dad to be able to do anything to them, he would have had to put up a fight, like, you know what I mean? And he's getting old, and these two kids were like pretty fit,
They're in
you
their
know what I mean?
prime. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
They keep calling them boys and kids and shit. These motherfuckers were like 20 something years old.
I'm not really sure, actually. How old were they?
They're one of them was in college. I think one was like 18, 19, and then the other one was like 20 something, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But yeah, they were fucking grown out. They were adults already. Like they keep saying boys.
But again, like, look, I'm not saying the dad didn't. I'm just saying is that there's so many lies that those kids told. Yeah.
They were 21 and 18.
It's hard to know what they were telling the truth about and what wasn't. And but again, no smoke without fire. So I don't want to quite say he wasn't, you know. I just think that they lied so much it's hard to really know. And even the show even said, well, the only people who will ever really know are the two dead people and the two brothers, do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I did also with the show, I think it was really well made and for Netflix as well. But you know, even the humor, and you know what I'm talking about, like even the humor on it, they added humor into this show, and which was unexpected for a show of what was going on in it, like, and with the popsicle and stuff, you know. That
That shit
like
was
he's got
dumb.
He was talking about he had bruising in the back of his throat, and he was like, then it shows him open the, whoop, you know. I was like, that was quite funny, and
Yeah.
I've just thought this, and I think the reason why I liked it is because, as you know, I'm not very well at the moment, and when I'm watching stuff, I can't concentrate on anything. When I had this on, I was glued. I was glued to Dharma as well, but the shock factor was the big thing about that. This whole intrigue about the court case, the lies, the different perspectives. I was hooked.
Yeah, I think the
And
different perspectives really added like something extra to
yeah,
the show
because
because
it was just one and that was it. It's done. But now we're seeing different. You're like, oh shit, what's going on? Like, you know, I
yeah,
really like.
I thought that was an interesting direction from the writers and the director and the staff that worked on this because they could have easily just been like, look, this is what happened, and then that's it, that's all. Like that's usually the way that these cases are often portrayed.
Yeah,
But the fact that these two individuals are still claiming their innocence and they're claiming that they acted in self-defense, like they're not denying the murder, they're just saying that we acted in self-defense. So they're introducing this other narrative or this other storyline, which I feel like the directors and the writers of this TV show 100% respected. And it's kind of funny because when you watch
yeah.
the
You know what? That's the right word. It felt like they did respect it
yeah,
to me.
but
So
the
yeah.
Menendez brothers don't feel like it. So I feel like I
No,
heard that
yeah. Is it Lyle? Is oh, just want to say about you know them about them two having a relationship
yeah,
with each other,
yeah.
right? They did touch upon something that wasn't brought up again, but I think he was more angry about saying that we didn't have a relationship with each other, and they're not saying that they did. What they're saying is that there's people who, when they were at parties, do you remember they were at the party and they were kind of
Yeah,
dancing with each other? There's people who've said that friends, when we were out partying, the way they were dancing with each other, sometimes it was just a bit like uncomfortable, like the way they were doing that with each other. So
yeah.
it was suggested that possibly they're so close. Maybe now they're only showing
Yeah, but
again another.
didn't the brother admit in court that he molested his brother when he was
Yeah,
younger?
I know, but it felt like that was molestation. But what I'm talking about, they're talking about like they had some kind of relationship.
Yeah, I know, but then okay, but look, but then it's not hard, or it's not to me. It's not hard to not I don't want to say imagine, but it's hard not to see that scenario possibly playing out because Lyle, although he was abused by his father, he even says like, okay, I was confused because I actually enjoyed it, right? And then it's the same thing with his brother. Like, I don't know, it just seemed like he enjoyed that stuff, and I can and then the brother obviously admitted to doing it, so I can definitely see that happening
Yeah,
with those
no, I
two.
know, but this is what Lyle is getting upset about in real life. He was like, oh no, that never happened. But again, like the show is only showing perspectives of what people have said and what's possibility. They didn't say it was definite. They were just showing a perspective of it, you know?
Yeah, because
So,
they made the dad and the mom out to be monsters, and then one episode they made them seem like regular ass people and shit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like it just really depends, you know?
Yeah. We'll never know for sure.
Yeah, we'll never know because the parents are dead, and
But one
and
thing
the
you do
brother.
know is that they're in prison for life and they were convicted of this crime. So
That
I will
they're not
say,
denying doing.
when they got the hung jury, because I know they're in prison, but I was like watching the hung jury and I was like, oh shit. I was even thinking to myself, are they going to get away with this? I mean, they are still in prison, right? I was checking. I was like, what the fuck? And on
Yeah.
that last episode, that lawyer came out. He fucking destroyed them. You know,
And that's because
he
the judge refused to
destroyed.
let them use the molestation thing.
Yeah, and also, what was it? Because of the OJ, they thought they was going to get away scot free. You know what I mean? And like the way he got away. Oh, one more thing. According to the show, I'm only going by the show, not anything I know in real life. But going by the show, I think that their lawyer was as much as a criminal as they were.
Yeah, of course.
Fuck me, you know? Like,
It seemed like she
I,
got off to like I think like she had like enjoyment in getting like taking these cases that seemed like they were fucking impossible and winning them.
yeah,
Like
and they are. But the fact is that she knew that they'd done this, and they were. I mean, look, we don't know what really happened because behind closed doors, you don't know what they're talking about. But they were showing us what they were talking about. We can't know this, but she was. They were talking about, oh, you can't say this because we won't say that. Oh, we'll have to change the story. And she's there going, yeah, change this, change that. And I'm like, you're supposed to be like a lawyer. You can't like the other one says, I can't defend you anymore. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? And she's just like egging it on. And even when she wasn't getting paid, she was still there. So I was like, she's just like literally trying to get these two little murderers off. You know what I mean? At any cost. Now they brought up the poltergeist story. Now, for those who don't know, there's a film that came out in the 80s called Poltergeist. It's about a little girl, blonde girl, and the family and ghosts coming through the TV and all that, right? She had a
They're
sister on the
here.
film. That's the one. She had a sister on the film. I think in real life she was about 16 to 18. And her boyfriend, just before the movie hit the theaters, her boyfriend came around to the house and he beat her to death and strangled her. Just
That's her.
yeah,
The guy that was watching the whole case and commentary and going, that's her dad.
that was her dad.
Oh
So
shit! Okay,
so
I didn't know
Poltergeist
that.
is coming out. Have you seen Poltergeist, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, yeah. So the sister, there's a brother and a sister and all that, right? So yeah,
Not the
as the
little sister. We're
film,
talking about the older sister.
yeah, a little bit older, yeah, she had brown hair or whatever. But that's why she was on the second and third. But she just before the movie came out, she was going out with this celebrity chef as such. He was some kind of a celebrity chef, as far as I know. But jealousy, he was enraged with jealousy over nothing. So he went round to her house. She not opened the door, and he just beat her to death, and as you know, strangled her. Now, as you see on the film or the TV show, he got off because of he was sexually abused. He got is it 6 years or something? And yes, I think they said he got 6 years for beating and strangling this poor little girl who she was only about 18. And that was the dad from he's the voice of the Lion King, but that was the dad. He you've seen Lion King, right?
Yeah, of course I've seen Lion King.
You remember Pumbaa and Timon?
Pumbaa and Timon, yeah.
Yeah, he's Timon. The dad was.
Oh shit! No, her real. Okay, wait, hold on. You're tripping me out now.
No.
So
The cat actor. The
oh,
actor.
okay. I was about to say,
Right,
what the fuck?
right.
No,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So the
But
actor is the voice of. Yeah, I knew his voice sounded familiar.
yeah, it's very distinctive. But
Oh shit, he is. Now you fucking me up. Now I'm like the voice actor for the dad, the one that was talking about the cases at the like round table. He was the voice of Timon from Lion King. I didn't even realize. Now it's clicking. Like what the hell? Like his voice is very unique. How did I not catch that? It's
but
crazy.
as I say, you see he's talking, and he's obviously very hurt, and he knows about this lawyer.
Was he
Got
gay
this guy
too?
off. He felt like he was, and I don't know why they showed that. I don't know if that was
I
relevant.
was wondering, like, what the fuck was the purpose of this shit? Are they trying to tell us, like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
Hollywood is
don't know if
gay,
that
or
was
like,
relevant for. Yeah, I know, but as I
you
say,
want me
he
to stay a little longer?
yeah, I was
No,
like,
it's okay. And then he
this
starts
has
crying.
nothing
I'm
to
like,
do with anything, you know. But if you see what he was following the case, and he knows her, and she got. I mean, obviously he's hurt because of his daughter,
yeah,
because like this guy got off because of child abuse. Child abuse, you can be you can have been molested, but you still know right from wrong.
no,
And
exactly.
that's it. He just what he done was bad. He ended this poor girl, and she got him off, and she used exactly the same tactics with
Strategy.
the child abuse angle with these guys. So it's hard to know it's the truth. But I liked the alert that they threw in there, the reference of the poltergeist story.
I
You
could
know,
that went over my head, man. Thanks for pointing that out. Like that, I'm glad I got you here now. So yeah, so that was actually cool. That was a wow, like a really revealing moment. Yeah, because I felt so bad when he was talking. He was like he ripped out her hair and he strangled
yeah.
her, and then
He just knocked on the door.
he admitted to it in front of the police officers, like I killed her. And he's like,
Yeah.
so
All
like,
right.
what are
Do
we
you
doing here?
know?
Like,
Apparently, do you know what happened? She didn't answer the phone to him. He keeps getting it in his head she's with another guy. Well, he was only going out with her. What? Apparently, I don't know now. Don't hold me to this, but she wasn't answering the phone for some whatever reason. She's busy or something. He just lost it. Went round to her house, banged on the door, and killed her
it's
because
crazy.
he in her head he was cheating.
And it's
And
wild that we really have a justice system that allows people to really defend criminals. Like, dude, like there's no like if you take a case like that, like you're a piece of shit. Like, there's no way around it. And this honestly, okay, look. So the one reason I like watching shows like this is because it always gives you a different perspective. Like being from LA and you witnessed, like you kind of grew up, and I didn't watch the OJ thing. I was like too young to like really be invested in that shit. But
I remember it.
I knew about it, you know,
Yeah,
and it was just this like community thing where everybody was like, "Oh, he didn't do that shit," so everybody was like really happy when he got off. Now, fast forward, I watched the show and I'm just like, that show, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this fool really did this shit. Like, I'm like, and they're not specifically saying like he did it. They're just presenting you the evidence as it is. And I'm like, this motherfucker did this shit. Like, I just, and then even so, putting it in context with this show, this like I didn't know much about this case. I just knew that these boys killed their parents, and that's it. That's all. I didn't know anything about the molestation charges. I didn't know anything. All I knew was that they were on a Mark Jackson card. That's it. That's all I know. And to find out, like, okay, like an actual backstory to this, it kind of threw me off. You know, I was like, oh wow, like like this is kind of something different. And that's why I like watching these shows or these documentaries, because sometimes they kind of allude to or they kind of give you a different perspective. And it's a fun, sometimes it's pretty fun to like watch these things and try to figure things out on your own and put the pieces together, like the Gypsy Rose shit, you know. But
yeah. I remember when I was young, right, and the OJ Simpson, it was just on all day long, everywhere. Now I didn't care about it because I was still very young, but I do remember watching bits, and I remember rooting for OJ because the films that I saw him in, I really liked him. So in my head, he was innocent. You know what I mean? And they were just
yeah,
like being shit with him. So I was like rooting for him. When he got off, I was well happy. And then I hit a certain age, and I saw a couple of things. And I was like, oh, do you know what I mean? Now I get it. That was crazy. Just quickly, what year was the Rodney King thing?
92. Or
All
wait,
right,
no.
90,
The riots happened in You talking about the riots or the actual beating?
both.
I know the riots happened in 92. I don't know when the actual beating took place. Let's see. King beating. It had to be like a year before that. It happened in 91. So that happened
All
in
right.
91, and the riots happened a whole year later after the police officers were let go.
Because I don't know why, but I thought it happened in '94, and I
Nah,
was
it should happen
thinking,
in 92.
yeah, no, in my head I was thinking, in where you are, you've got like the Rodney King, you've got the earthquakes, you've got the Menendez and OJ. Do you know? Like that's a busy
I don't
fucking year.
I don't remember all those. Look, I remember the earthquake. All right, I remember the initial earthquake the night that it happened. I do not remember all those aftershocks, like at all. I don't remember those. I remember the earthquake, like for sure. I just don't remember all them aftershocks. But I don't know. Like I mean, I only remember that earthquake.
I was smarter than you. I really don't remember. I remember the fish tank fell. We lost our fishes. We were the only ones survived.
Oh, I just remember like it was a bad earthquake. I woke up, we all went outside and we were standing outside, and then we ended up coming back in, and my aunt had like a flashlight and shit because all the power went out. So we was walking around with a flashlight. But I don't remember anything after that. That's all I remember.
So Tiffany had sushi that night then.
They ate the kid. Nah, don't do that. Those are nice fishies. But anyway,
I'm sorry.
But anyway, look, I enjoy this show. You enjoy this show. I can't wait for season 3 because they're gonna go for Ed Gein. You kind of resemble Ed Gein, by the way.
Or Gacy.
Nah, so the thing about Gacy was talked before they officially announced it. I think this is officially announced that it's Gein because they already announced the dude that's playing him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know who it is, but yeah. And then people keep making these comments that they keep picking all these good-looking people to represent killers.
Well, I will say, I look when I was watching what really happened to the facts, the difference between the TV and show and the facts. I see a lot about the brothers. I was like, yeah, you guys are not as good looking as these two guys who played him. I mean, look, it doesn't matter. But I was like, these two guys that are playing are kind of good looking, right? And they're all ripped and shit. One of them's like proper ripped and buffed.
Dude, that toupee scene, although it was fucked up, was funny as shit.
I
when
know.
He was like, you're not even really living your life. And she's like, me. I was like, damn. I did not. Dude, he's straight. Didn't he look like fucking Ron Howard after she ripped that shit off?
But it didn't look. It looked so fake as well, though. And I was like, "What are those two things in his fucking head?" Apparently, they're hooks. I was like, "How the fuck do you put that in your head? What the fuck?" You know. But as I said, like the Menendez brothers. No offense to the guys, but they're not as handsome as these guys. But even if they're better looking or not, their acting was spot on. Do you know what I mean? So that's all that matters, really. You know.
They did an amazing job.
Ed Gein is fascinating because Psycho and the Chainsaw Massacre are based on this guy, and what he done is fucked up, you know. So it's going to be another shocker. I don't think he had a big, massive kill count.
Nah, well, it depends on. Okay, so look, if they dramatize it, then they might. But the thing is, like, they have to figure out. They have to commit to something. Either they're going to commit to the idea that he actually was grave robbing like he said he did, or they're going to commit to the idea that, or they're going to just try to say like, oh, he killed a bunch of people, you know, because in all actuality, I really do think that he probably was just grave robbing until he figured out like, okay, like I killed this person.
So, according to this, he killed 2 people. 7 others suspect 9 corpses mutilated. But he's convicted for 2, or he was known for 2. But all I know is one of them his mum.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
only person I know Ed Kemper killed his. I know Ed Kemper killed his grandparents and his mom. I don't know anything about Ed Gein.
Yeah, he. All right, so just briefly,
they need to do Ed Kemper, bro. Like Ed Kemper's story to me would be the most like that you can flesh that out because
the dude from Mindhunters, right?
Big and it could be him too. This dude killed. Okay, look, he killed his grandparents, right? He gets sent off to like a mental institute. They say they reinstitutionalize him. He gets out and then he goes, "Well, that taught me one thing. That just because I guess he was like attacking people, but he wasn't killing them. And then he ended up killing his grandparents or something. But he said all that taught me was that never to leave people alive, and he just started killing them afterwards."
There was something else he said that I thought was really bad, right? So his mum used to always put him down, saying, you know, you're this, you got your little dick, you're just useless, right?
Yeah.
And one night she came home drunk, and she said to him, "I have not been fucked for 7 years because of you, she says to him. So he cut her head off.
And then he fucked her
And
mouth.
he fucked her mouth. Then he fucked her dead body. And when he was finished, he got off. He goes, there you go. Now you're fucked.
Yeah, and then he put her vocal cords in a garbage disposal and said that's. And then he said it got stuck, and then when it blew up or something, he was like, "Damn, even in death, I couldn't shut her the fuck up."
No, but like it's
That dude,
one thing
I'm
killing,
telling you, he fucking dude,
doing that shit to your mom.
Dude, he's crazy as shit. Like
doing that shit to girls, I don't understand. But all right, I get it. It's a sexual thing. But doing that shit to your mom just to
and he
degrade
picked
her,
victims that look like his mom because he was just projecting that anger towards those victims. And it was crazy because like he's the one killer that goes into this idea of like the God mentality that they have. Like he's like he talks about how killers choose, like they feel godly because they're basically telling someone if they could live or if they can die. And he says at one point you start to feel like you're invincible, like can't nobody touch you, can't nothing bad happen to you. So he starts testing this theory. He starts doing stuff like in obvious places in broad daylight and just starts testing this theory and never gets caught. Even after he kills his mom, dude, and then he leaves, he goes on the run and he's just like, dang, dude, man, they're probably looking for me. Like, you know what? I don't even want to run. So he calls the
how many
sheriff
did he kill?
He killed a gang of people because he was a co-ed killer. So what he would do was he would drive down by the college that his mom worked at, and he would pick up hitchhikers because people would hitchhike to go to the campus, and he would just cut off the road and then take them to the woods or whatever, and then just kill them and do whatever he had to do. But so his kill count is crazy. But the thing is, like, he goes on a run and he's like, man, they probably looking for me. And then what's the point of me doing this? Because he used to talk to law enforcement. Like he would be in bars and shit, and he'll be just chit-chatting with them, and he'll be like finding out stuff about the case, and they're talking about him. And he's just chit-chatting with them, like, oh yeah, what do you find out about this? And they're talking to him about because he's so friendly and so likable, and they're just divulging this information to him. Anyway, so he ends up calling. And he tells him, look, man, I'm over here, just come get me. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Ed? Like, why do we have to come get you? He's like, because I killed my mom. And they're like, the fuck, you killed your mom? And he's like, you didn't know? And they're like, no. And he's like, well, I did, so come get me. So they came and got him. They didn't even know that he did the shit.
I know. He's actually would be a really, I don't know why his name isn't actually up higher like with Ted Bundy and all that, because that shit just fucking, you know what I mean? That's just messed up. The guy was,
and I mean the thing about him that
charming.
Him, because he's likable. Like the guards and shit, he was cool as shit with the guards. He would talk to them or whatever. But the thing that to me that separates him is the fact that he had a high ass IQ. Apparently his IQ was like up there. Most killers, like they said, their IQs are kind of low and they're kind of dumb and shit. They were saying that he has a high ass IQ, and you can hear it when he talks because he's very intelligent and he knows the way he feels. But I mean, we can talk about this shit all day. We wrapped up the 40-minute mark.
Subject,
So, but look, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys go check out the Menendez Brothers Monster. It's on Netflix. 100%. It's a good watch. I think that it gives a good perspective of everybody involved. If you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe. If you have not subscribed to his channel or his 2 channels, make sure you subscribe to both. The Third Reel, he does movie reactions and movie match reviews. He reviews movies and breaks news, all that good stuff. But until next time, you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope you guys are having a great day. And adios, homies.
See ya.
I want to play a game. Subscribe now. The choice is yours. You're now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop.